Greetings everyone, welcome to Advanced. This game was played in the Speeches Championship with the black pieces. We have the man in form, Wesley So, facing off against Vincent Keymer. So definitely battle of generations here. Vincent is young after all. So here, let's see what happens here. Without further ado, let's start with this game. Vincent is with the white pieces, and the situation is not that great for Vincent. He has lost many games and not performed that well here. So let's see he's able to bounce back with the white pieces or if Wesley will take this one home. So without further ado, let's start with this game here. Knight to f3 was played by Vincent. Going for the ready opening, we have d5, g3 and c5. This is the King's Indian attack. This is Sicilian variation. We have bishop to g2, knight to c6 and just d4. Immediately striking in the center, e6 now, castles and just c caps on d4. We have knight captures, knight g2, e7 and here just going for knight to b3. And this is the reverse control variation. We have g6, knight to d2 and here just bishop to g7. And although you could go for a move like e4 in this position, immediately striking in the center, which will be very nice. You play d4, a4 now, and after b6 you play a5, just pushing those queenside pawns and also challenging the queenside pawns. And here after bishop to a6, attacking the rook, rook to e1, castles, knight to f3, and most likely here e5 would just cement the structure. You would have like so much space in the center, and I think that would be good for black. But here after c3, challenging those pawns, d captures, p captures, queen captures, rook captures. Yes, the position simplifies a little bit. This is also coming. Your bishop would be under attack. You're going to move the bishop somewhere along the way. Maybe you can attack the knight, but still I feel like it's still better for black rather than it is for white. But after bishop to g7, hey, just c4 was played, just challenging those pawns. We have d4, pushing the pawn all the way, and we have c5, castles now, knight to e4, and hey, just going for a5, just pushing those pawns towards the queen side. How is Vincent going to respond? Vincent goes for knight to d6 in this position, just throwing that knight on Wesley's face, saying that what are you going to do about it? But here just a4, pushing the knight further back. We have knight to d2, queen to a5 now, and here we have knight to e4. Now in this position here, you could go for a move like knight to d5, which is going to be a very, very strong piece, because that's at the center of the board, and it's very difficult to kick that piece out because you do have a light square bishop, but you have to get this knight out to be able to kick this out. And after a move like bishop to d2, you play queen to a6, rook to e1, and after bishop to d7, play queen to c1, just putting pressure on that bishop somewhere along the line. And now f5, and f5 is a spectacular move in this position, because yes, knight to g5 comes, and yes, these pawns becomes backward pawns, and yes, that could be a problem somewhere along the line, but the thing is that what it gives you in return is much more. Here h6, pushing the knight further back. But first, a very nice move here, bishop caps on d5 first, because you have to eliminate that piece in the center of the board is a bit too strong. So after e captures, you play knight to f3, king to h7, just defending that 6 pawn, and black is doing perfectly fine here. But after knight to e4, we have bishop to d7 in this position, just developing the bishop, not going for anything crazy. Bishop to g5 now, challenging that knight, and just f5 now, challenging and pushing that knight further back. Knight caps on b7 was played here, queen to c7, and now just going for knight to d2. But this knight to d2 move is not at all a move that Indian likes. Maybe the move that you want to play in this position is knight to d6, and then you can have something in this position. Those two knights are defending each other, pawn is defending the knight, and somewhere along the line you're going to put some extra pressure and defend that pawn as well. The structure would be really nice. Yeah, there is some pressure towards the knight as well. You cannot move this knight. There will be some pin, and you have to be careful about that as well. So all of these lines are there, and maybe it could be a bit too much to calculate in time pressure. Both these players are playing on seconds. This was actually a blitz game, so you have to be a little bit careful here. Just knight to d2. Moving the knight out of the way in this position is not at all a good move, because here just h6 comes, pushing the bishop back. But the move that you want to play in this position is basically knight to c8. Not that difficult to spot, but definitely works, because you have some tension here as well, so you have to be a little bit careful. But here h6 was played, we have bishop caps on e7, and now Wesley gives a chance basically to get Vincent back into the game. And now just comes this knight captures. We have rook to c1, rook a to d8, just challenging that knight, and also maybe saying that I'm just going to capture it if you don't move. But here the move that you want to play, and you see why the engine spiking in this position is a move that you have that is very easy to spot and actually feels like a very nice move, because you are actually putting pressure here, and you want to defend the knight. So why not do it while threatening something with a move like c6? But the thing is that does bishop captures actually works, because that will put some pressure on the knight as well. So if you go for bishop caps on c6, that bishop caps will be played, knight caps on c6, and here knight to c5, just getting the knight out of the way, and now your knight is out of the waters. Your position is very nice, pawn structure is a little bit shattered, but the thing is that that knight in your face is very, very annoying. And here after move like queen to d6, you play queen caps on a4, just grabbing that pawn as well, because it's not an easy way to be able to defend the pawn. You're gonna have to go a lot passive for that. After rook a to d8, you play queen to c4, and the thing is that white is a lot better in this position, and Vincent could take this home. But after rook a to d8, hey, knight to d6 was played, and now just comes this rook captures on b2, just going for those pawns. And next threat is to do this and make this a pass pawn, and that's going to be a really strong pass pawn, and you won't be able to get rid of it. And the thing is that Wesley played this position absolutely passively throughout the game, but now you've given him a chance to get back into the game, and he's going to take this happily. A knight to c4 was played, just putting some extra defense towards that knight. But also, you cannot really capture that. If you want to capture that, your position could become really bad. But here, just rook caps on a2, just finally grabbing that, and you have to be a little bit careful. Also, that defends the pawn as well, so that becomes a really nice pass pawn. Now we have knight to b6 now challenging that pawn, but just bishop to c6 asking for a bishop trade. We have queen to d3, bishop caps on g2, king captures, and queen to c6 check. And now you're ready to push that pass pawn and maybe do some more damage into the position with the help of that pass pawn, of course. King to g1 was played. We have knight to d5 and getting that knight to the center of the board. That is a very strong piece. Yes, these are annoying knights as well, but the thing is that they are not threatening anything in this position. And the rook is on the second rank, knight is center of the board, queen is already eyeing this, so you have to be a little bit careful here. Queen to c4 was played. Now just comes this. Engine definitely hates this move. The move that you want to play in this position is maybe knight caps on d5. Maybe you have something after that. Just trade that knight off, because that knight is a bit too strong piece, and maybe you can survive afterwards. But here, queen to c4 just completely botches things up, because yes, you are attacking the rook, but the thing is that now rook to b2 comes, and what are you going to do in this position? Here, knight caps on d5 was played, but the move that you want to play in this position is rook to b1. You want to challenge that rook and actually get rid of that rook. That rook on the second rank is an annoying piece, and after rook captures, you play c captures, and now the thing is that queen caps on d6, and just going for this b7, but that's not much of a threat as much as this pawn will be. All of these pieces here, and the thing is that I have two pieces for the rook, and my position is absolutely amazing. But here, after rook to b2, we have knight caps on d5, and now just comes e captures, and Wesley's position just becomes much more better. Here, queen to d3 was played, but now just comes this rook a to d8, and now I'm ready to push that pass pawn. It's not much you can do about it. It just h4 was played, trying to create some counterplay towards the king side, but just h5 not allowing. Rook to c2, now asking for a trade finally. But the thing is that even if I go for rook caps on c2 and push this pass pawn, position is completely winning. Here, rook captures on c2 would have been really strong, because after queen captures, you play a3, maybe queen to b3, but after d3, e captures, now just pushing a2. And the thing is that there is no easy way to be able to stop that pass pawn. Yes, you can try to give up the rook, but that is absolutely senseless, and there is not much. Or you can just, a few moves back, you can just put the queen here, but queen stopping a pass pawn is just really silly idea. But after rook to c2, here just a3 was played, and even that works in this position. Here, rook to a1 was played. We have rook captures on c2, queen captures d3 now, and now you can see that the trouble has just begun, and there is not much you can do. And Vincent's position just completely collapses. Here, queen to a2 was played, but now just comes this queen caps on c5, challenging that knight. That knight is under attack, that bishop is challenging that rook. There is not much you can do. You cannot save it all, and your position is really about to collapse in this position. Vincent should have resigned here, but he plays a few more moves. He goes for this knight to b7 first, attacking the queen. Queen to b5, again challenging the knight and the rook. Rook to b1, and here just queen caps on b1. A beautiful idea by Wesley here. Queen captures, and just a2 in this position was played. And you could have resigned here as well, but here Vincent decided to play a few more moves. Here a1 queening, and that too with the tempo. And here just comes king to h2. We have d caps on e2. Now I'm threatening to bring another queen into the game. Here, queen caps on d5 with the check was played, but after king to h7, you have absolutely nothing. On just move 39, that Vincent Keymer resigned the game, and Wesley got this spectacular victory in just 39 moves, and he went on to win the entire thing 12-8, and that was a spectacular result, considering the fact that he was also playing US Chess Championship, which is absolutely spectacular that he's able to do both, switch between time formats, and still just bring out the beast inside of him, and crush a player of Vincent's caliber is absolutely spectacular. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll be coming back with some of these amazing games, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be able to see you guys very soon. Thank you very much for watching.